Somehow banks missed that this whole crisis was going to happen. Somehow banks, were so dependent on a particular way of thinking about the world, a particular way of managing risk, value at risk models, a particular way of thinking, that they really didn't stop and think, well, what would happen if a baker in Alabama and a hairdresser in New York were to default at the same moment? They didn't kind of think about less likely scenarios. It's very easy in a bull market to just not think about the world at large, especially if you're making lots and lots of money. And I think maybe the crisis has made banks, and the bankers who I've been dealing with and the CEOs who I've been speaking to, make them more reflective and thinking, okay, if we got that risk wrong, could there be other risks which we're not focusing on? Could the environment be a ticking bomb that is going to explode if we don't address it in the same way that the financial crisis and systemic risk was? Bankers are realizing that they need to kind of re-establish their license to operate, and they need to reconnect with their customers and with the governments in the countries they're operating and the societies where they're operating, and in a way kind of prove that they are doing something socially useful now. I think the financial crisis happened not because banks were operating globally, but because of the kind of products that had been developed were very risky products, and the potential for kind of collateral damage and for disaster hadn't been adequately thought about or factored in. And I think the other problem with the financial crisis was that compensation structures were such that people were rewarded for taking more and more risk without having to think about the downside. I don't think the financial crisis was about banks operating in lots of different countries and operating globally. And I don't think that there's a reason why banks shouldn't operate in different countries. In fact, in a global world, it's important to be able to serve clients not only in your own home country, but internationally as well. Something like the green economy offers huge opportunity for whoever gets there first, and for whichever bank becomes the leader in green financing, whichever bank becomes the leader in carbon trading, whichever bank becomes the innovator in creating new financial products to finance the green economy, that bank will have a massive competitive advantage moving forward as we move into an era in which emissions are going to be regulated, in which carbon dioxide will be measured. Any bank who gets there first is going to have a huge competitive advantage. So it's up there for the taking. And, of course, bankers are smart, other banks are really looking at this area, but no one's yet grabbed that crown. No one yet is wearing that crown, and there isn't one bank yet which kind of stands out as the leading bank in the whole green area. And it's up for the taking.